It's because at the beginning of our partnership, all of these classes were populated. And when they were populated, they all went straight to your accounts. So if you are seeing anything there and you want to archive it, click on those three dots, archive the classroom, and that will help with decluttering. All right, so that's my classrooms. We've already talked about my content. That's your kind of filing cabinet where you can put content. And then you have your kind of engagement tools / creator buttons here. So we have quiz where you can actually create quizzes, but you also have a lot of ready to use quizzes. So I'll pop in for just a quick moment here and show you. On the side, you have quizzes that you've made or used under My Quizzes. And then if you click on the quiz library, you'll see here we have 519 ready to use quizzes. So these are good to go. You can assign them right out to students if that is what you prefer. And again, you have filtering abilities here. So if you don't want to be looking at that 6, 8, 9, 12 content, you can just click on K through 2 and 3 through 5. So just want to call that out under our quiz here. And with quiz, you have the option of assigning a quiz in a very traditional way, or you can conduct a live quiz where students can, in live time, interact with the quiz. It's really great for discussion and awesome if you are just like trying to put together a quick exit ticket. So we do have some great features like that just make life a little bit easier. So having said that, I do want to talk for a moment about Studio. You will see today some of our ready to use content. And with that ready to use content, a lot of those activities open up into Studio. So I will talk to you a little bit about that and what that looks like. But I just want to mention here that Studio is amazing and it's something that you have access to as a teacher, but students also have access to. So if you wanted them to build out presentations or, just teaching about concepts that they've learned about, that is certainly something that they can do. I have a good question. How about the students? How will they see what you assign? That is a great question. And how do you use live quiz? So I will backtrack because I think those are great questions. I'm going to backtrack a little bit here. So I'm going to click into quiz and I'm really just pulling up like the first thing I see. So forgive me here. I think actually this was a quiz I was working on, not one I have set, but I think I can show you anyway. So I have the option here. Now that I have this, I can click on my, let's see, maybe not since this is not a fully built. Yeah, my fault. Here we go. Let me go into, I know this one exists. So I can launch this quiz. This is where I can show you. So if you wanted to do a traditional quiz assignment, you can go in here, you can assign it. It's going to go out to the students, through their Discovery dashboard. So that is, your traditional way of doing things. If you wanted to do a live quiz, this is what you're going to go to. You go ahead and launch that activity. And then you have a link that you can give students, or they have a code. So on the student side, in the upper right-hand corner, they have a place where they can join a live quiz with a code. So this is the code that they would put in there, and then they can easily get into that live quiz. Does that answer your question, Mylene? Just want to make sure. If we have more time at the end,
yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, good. But if we have more time at the end, I can definitely go deeper and show you that student side, just so you have like a good visual of what that is. All right. So yeah, quiz is super awesome in so many ways. And I will show you, since we're here, just how easily you can. And then this is another great feature. If you have students that still need a little bit of time to finish their quiz, you can assign the remainder of that quiz to them. So it makes it a little less pressure. If you've got students that just need more time, or if they've spent some time outside of the classroom and are coming back, we have all these things that go on in classrooms. So we want to make sure that we cover all of those bases. So I can certainly assign the remainder of this, and then it will allow me to put it out to just that one student or whoever it is that needs more time. So I wanted to show you when you create a new quiz. I'm just going to click here on build a quiz. So when you do that, I'm going to choose a standard because I want to show you the different types of questions that we have. So in here, when you build out a quiz, you have all these different types of questions that you can mix within one of your quizzes. So I know that I always love the audio answer. That was always like so much fun to hear students talk about what they learned that day, or even if we're doing just like a check-in, seeing how they were doing and just hearing their voice. I think it just makes it a little more fun to grade. And then you've got your short answer, your polling here. So lots of great things going on. Janet, great question. Yes, you can assign a quiz, so you can grab links and put those links in Canvas. But then of course you can use that DE platform as well. So you might just want to play around with it. I think that there are some ways that are going to work better than others. I think if you're doing a live quiz, it may be best to do within the DE platform. But if you wanted just a quiz to go out to students and have them, work on it over the course of a week or a couple of days, you can definitely take a link and put that in Canvas. Good questions. I appreciate the questions. Anything else coming up for you? I am keeping my eye on the chat, but also listening if you wanted to unmute and let me know what you're thinking. All right, so great questions around quiz here. Studio, we talked about a little bit. Assessment Builder is exactly what it sounds like. So if you are building assessments or have those common assessments that you're trying to do at your school, that is a great way to make those happen. It will allow you to put in a subject and then pull up kind of a question bank. So it just makes putting together like one of those quick assessments really much easier. You have a browse standards button here, as well as educator supports. Definitely want to talk about those educator supports while we're here. You have your getting started. So these are step-by-step guides that we have. If you wanted to spend more time learning about assigning and sharing to students, but maybe you don't have time to email me or whatever, you do have these on-demand pieces here. So please feel free to use the step-by-step guides, but if you want more support beyond this, just reach out to me and we can schedule some time together. Another great thing I will point out here are the instructional strategies that we have here. I'm going to open up these PDFs because I feel like this is a really magical place. So within Discovery, you already have access to these things. You have an entire graphic organizer library here. And these are amazing for all subjects. They can really be adapted depending on the resources that you're using to any grade level. And so many of them are great for, collaborating, working with groups, and using some really creative ways for students to show what they're learning, or just things that they may already know. So this is the instructional strategy tab. And then I'm with the graphic organizer section. I'm going to go ahead and add this to our chat in case you wanted to take a look at that right now. There we go. And also we have our, going back here, we have our explore button. So this is a super exciting place, another magical place, if you will. And up here at the top, we have our ready to use activities. And because you all are my primary crowd, I have some really cool things to show you. So under our K2, you'll see here that we have an activity calendar. So this is something that we do for K through 5. So you'll see when you open that up, and this is just the K2 that you see here. You have ready to use activities that you can dig into. Certainly, these do not have to be done in any particular order, but it is a great place to come and kind of pick and choose different activities that you might want to do. So I will put a link to this since I have it right here. This is the K2 that I'm sharing with you right now. And we also have, oops, yep, here we go. We also have our 3-5 here. So I want to grab that for you. This is our 3-5 activity calendar coming at you. And then we are about to go deep into those financial literacy resources. I know it's kind of the main event here. So here we go, getting into that. So you have your calendars that I just dropped in the chat for you. And now we're going to talk about those great channels. So I want to start by telling you about a channel. So a channel within Discovery is where you're going to find lots of different types of resources. So you may find a song, but you also might find a video and a ready-to-use activity, just depending on the different subject that you're going into there. So the first one I'm going to pull up here is our financial literacy channel. Seems very appropriate. So I'm going to drop that in the chat for you to look at as well. And you'll see here, popping right up, we have some of those instructional activities. So these are activities that you can assign immediately to students. I'm pulling this one up because it opens up into Studio. And as primary teachers, I feel like this is such a great thing to know. When you click on our immersive reader, it will read to students. So I know a lot of times we're worried about, oh my gosh, I have these like first grade students. Some of them can read amazing. Some of them are still learning. So this is a great way to make sure that this is accessible to your students. And then if you have students that speak other languages, their native language is maybe Spanish, they can come in here and they can translate their entire document to their native language and then hear those directions in their native language. I know sometimes it's so hard as teachers, we want to be able to communicate, smoothly and confidently, and it's hard with all of the different languages out there. So you can see here, you have almost 100 languages that you can translate to. And I just feel like this is such a great way to make sure that things are really getting to your students and easy for them to understand. You'll see some of the words here were highlighted. So you can highlight parts of speech here within directions. If there's a concentration that you have, that is something else that you have access to. I'm also going to mention that with our ready to use activities, you can make a copy of them. And when you make a copy, you can modify. So if there's a question that you wanted to change up, if you think that there's a better question to ask a kindergartner, you can certainly come in and change those things, but at least you have kind of a nice thing to build from. So you can certainly assign it the way it is, but then you also have the power to modify. So I'm going to head out of here. And I do want to show you, I'm going to go back actually to the financial literacy because we just looked at the instructional stuff here. But you do have some great video content here as well. As we dig a little deeper, I mentioned that you might find some songs in here. So if there's a song that you're trying to connect with your financial literacy, Math with Mar is a great way to go. And then this is just our financial literacy channel. We're going to look at some others here. We have a needs and wants channel, and I feel like this is so good, especially for primary. Understanding want versus need is such a big concept. I think some adults benefit as well, but yeah, definitely thinking about want versus need. And you can of course use the video segment here, but then you can build these things out. So let's say I wanted to take this and build an activity with it, I can come in here and I can create a slideshow if I wanted. So within this, we could watch a video, but then I can also pair a question with it, or I can pair one of our instructional strategies with it. So you have so many different options available to you. I will also point out that you can download a great majority of our videos. So if you have other presentations that you're building and you're just looking for those kind of supplemental resources to help out, you can certainly pull from our videos to do so. And then videos like this also have a segment area. So if you're looking for just particular things that you want to be able to pull out here, you have the ability there to do so. And I had a great question in my secondary session. They said, well, how do I know what's in the video without having to watch the whole video? Because I know sometimes we just want to make sure that it's hitting the points that we are trying to get across. So you can use our transcript feature to just kind of quickly breeze through and make sure that it is, giving the content that you want it to give. I think that is just a great thing to call out. I was so grateful for that question. I was like, that's something we think about, but I had never mentioned before. So I'm really happy that it came up. So that is the needs and wants channel. You also have this Cheddar K through 12 channel. So this is going to answer some of those great questions that come up. Students, can ask some big questions, and sometimes we know the answer and sometimes we don't. So it is great to have some of these videos help explain how different innovations are happening, and these things are really connected with financial literacy. We talk about businesses that come up or ways that students can solve some of the world's problems. So these are just some great connections that can be made to that content. And oops, I clicked a little too fast there. I wanted to click here on our money channel. This is another really great channel, and I will put this in our chat. This is a channel that you can dig into even further. And again, you're going to find some of that ready to use content. You'll find some of our full videos here, video segments. You'll even have some different images if you are building those different presentations and you're looking for images to put in. You can take from our images, download them. And then you have, again, some great videos here. And this is really where that math and financial literacy crossover kind of happens. You have all of these segments that are going to talk about multiplication, and a lot of those things that we have to think about. Well, I'm going to the store, I'm buying 2 pieces of candy, and, they both cost 25 cents or whatever. But, just kind of hitting on some of those different skills that are going to help them do those computations. So this is the channels that we've just talked about here. I went ahead and I kind of pulled out those primary resources that I thought would be most useful to you. So when you get a copy of this presentation, you can click right into these activities. So you've got videos here, as well as some of those ready to use instructional activities. And then you also have some of our highlights from the needs and wants channel. So I really wanted to show you, we have these great activities, and when you pull up an activity, it will actually give you like a nice graphic organizer. So this pairs nicely with a lot of those video segments that I showed you. So you've got other resources here that you can kind of dig into and pair this up with. But this is really intended to kind of pull together all of these ideas. You can write a folk tale. So you're thinking about a character that is now demonstrating the concept of need versus want. So it really takes that video and that concept and then brings it home. They actually have to apply what they learn there, which is great. So that is our needs and wants channel, just some of the highlights from there. And then, oh, I think I clicked again. So sorry. Also wanted to show you with our videos. So I have this video here. It is a financial literacy video. But you'll see here that very similar to when you click those three dots, you can assign, you can share, you've got that easy copy link option here. You can download as well. And then, as I mentioned before, you've got the transcript option. So these are all great ways to make sure that you can get that content out to students. And you'll see this one is for grades 3-5, so kind of the upper end of elementary school, but definitely a great one to share out. And I wanted to take some time to show you, again, thinking about that math and financial literacy crossover, some of our interactives that are going to help with those concepts. So this one in particular, as I pop in here, this is going to kind of talk about how the economy works. So sorry. So you'll see here that the students can actually interact with this content, and it's going to ask them some really great questions. Can you make good choices? So this is an awesome one for Financial Literacy Month. And then we also have some of our kind of more particular to math content here. With academics, you have the ability to have your students play with each other. So there's a little bit of friendly competition that can happen here with counting. So you would, I can actually demonstrate for you here. You click play. And then if the student wanted to play themselves, they can just click play now. If they did want to create a game, you can just do a quick password here. And then you can have 3 other students join that student, and then they can kind of have that friendly counting competition. And then I thought that these were some other good ones to know, just thinking about math and financial literacy together, making a 10, groups of 2. So those are other interactives that you can dive into that are appropriate for primary. And then we get to some of that good stuff here. So I want to give you this resource guide. I will put this in the chat. We are coming to a close here. Oh, good. I'm glad you saw that literary text connection, George. I'm glad that was like making its way to you. I appreciate that. I am a former English teacher, so I can't help but get excited when there are those connections. So we've got our financial literacy here. And this is, again, the resource guide, but you're also going to get a copy of our slides. So I do have a quick question for you. I know that we're coming to a close here pretty quickly, but I would love to know how you're going to use these resources in your classroom. So just pop whatever comes to mind, like how are you going to use this? What are you going to do with it? And I think that this is so great because you'll be able to take other people's ideas too. So just a nice little idea share. Using quizzes to check for understanding. I love that. Videos to help. Oh, good. Terry, that's great to hear. Using video, great. We are here to support you. So yes, and if I can ever help, if you are looking for particular videos or lessons, I am happy to help you with those connections. Oh, good. Canvas, it does make life easier. Oh, good. Is it Myrna? I want to make sure I say it right. Hope I'm saying that correctly. Oh, videos and quizzes, great. And yes, oh yes. You can even pop in songs, Bonnie. It's going to pull up a bunch. So I promise there is a lot happening there. Oh, it's a teacher's dream. That is like, I think that needs to be our new motto. I love it. Oh, so many good ideas. Thank you all. Oh my gosh, songs and videos, lesson about goods and services. Awesome. Oh, sorry you're just learning about it now. Oh, and Brittany is putting some really important links in there, guys. For your forms, you've got your 2 surveys. So please do not miss anything that Brittany is posting. Good stuff there. So I am so glad you guys have some really amazing ideas. Translate documents with Discovery. Lisa, love that. Good to see you here. Using Canvas. I think I'm catching everything here. Just want to make sure I get to see all this great stuff that you all are coming up with. So before you go, want to make sure that you get a copy of the presentation today. So let me get that link for you. And then I also have a survey and a check-in I would love for you to do. I know it's a lot. So if you don't get to my stuff, I can live with that, but just want to make sure that you have access to it. So let me share. Here comes the presentation. And again, happy to follow up with any of you that want more support, more ideas. I really feel like I could talk to teachers for hours about these things. So if there's more I can do, just reach out, let me know. Here comes our presentation for today. And then I also want to share out our check-in. This is another important piece. So here comes our check-in link. Going to give that to you in the chat as well. And there will be a session ID number that you need. So I'll include that in the chat. This is the check-in for Discovery that I'm giving you. So again, Brittany's stuff is way more important. But if you do anything, do Brittany's thing first. And then you've got your session ID number coming to you now. There it is. And one final quick piece, if you would give us some feedback. I mean, feedback is always appreciated. I know it's hard to make time for these things, but the session ID number is the same as your PD check-in. So you have everything that you need from me. But I do want you to know I'm here if you have questions. Is there anyone that has a burning question that I can help with? So far, so good. All right. And I will also share one of our big things in Discovery are our virtual field trips. And I have recently put together a pretty cool list of all of our virtual field trips. So I will share that with you. That's just like a bonus piece. So let me get that going for you. And then I will put that in our chat as well, just so you have all the resources that you can possibly need. Here we go. So this is that virtual field trip resource. And I think that really is everything I wanted to make sure you had today. So thank you all for being here. And if you have any questions, I'm going to stay right here for a moment until Brittany's had enough of me. And I just want to make sure that you get everything answered. Thank you, Amy. And thank you, Donna. Thanks for being here. I love spending time with you guys. Oh, super. Thanks, Lisa. Little sunshine. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for being here. You all are so welcome, and I appreciate your time. Oh yeah, don't forget session 8. Thank you all. Mylene, did you have a question? Go ahead. Or was she waving? Maybe she was waving. Thank you, Claudia.
If anyone's having trouble finding session 8, just let me know. And if you have any questions about the surveys, let me know too.
All right, I just want to say thank you again, and thank you, Brittany. I appreciate you. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much for the information.
Of course. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye-bye.
All right, this room will be closing in 1 minute. And session 8 is in the Canvas course, the link.